Lesson 28, Persian Market, in the Bastien book on page 45. Now we finally get to play something that uses a flat sign. And if you haven't yet, make sure you watch the video where I talk about sharps, flats, and naturals. So there's a flat sign. So just to remind you, a flat sign lowers a note a half a step. So if we have a flat sign from the D, then we call it a D flat. And there's the D key, that one, and then the black key below that, that's our D flat. So when we're playing this here, we're going to play E, F, E, and then instead of playing a D, we're playing that black key for D flat. That key that's in between the C and the D, there's our D flat. So it's E, F, E, D flat, C, C. Then when we get a new measure, they have to write the flat sign again. So that's a D flat to a C. And that flat sign is going to last for the whole measure. So anytime you see a D, it's going to stay flat. So that's also D flat. If we wanted that to be a D, we'd use one of those natural signs I talked about in the other video. So that's D flat, C, D flat, E. D flat, C, D, E. And as you look through the song, anytime you see a D, it's flat. Because remember, that's D flat, that's still D flat. And anytime we get to a new measure, if we want it to be D flat, we have to write the flat sign in again. Otherwise, it just goes back to D natural. So, let's work out the first two lines of this verse. That's where the melody is. And we're even going to start right in the third measure, because this is an introduction. We'll take care of that later. So here we go. Get your right hand set. Let's do it slowly and say the notes. Ready? Go. E, F, E, D flat, C, C, D flat, C, D flat, E, F, F. Now this is looking like it's going down the scale, which it is, except we're going to use a D flat instead of a D. So right here, 2, 3, 4. G, F, E, D flat, C, C, D flat, C, D, E, F. Notice that is the same note progression that we had there. Okay, let's do it a little faster now. Here we go. Starting here. 1, 2, 3, 4. E, F, E, D flat, C, C, D flat, C, D flat, E, F, F, G, F, E, D flat, C, C, D flat, C, D, E, F. Now look at the third and fourth lines. Starting there, it's the same thing. We just have the same melody, and we go through it twice. What's going to change is what we do with the left hand. So let's look at the left hand here, starting here. It's just an F, whole note, tied to another F, whole note. So that's 8 counts. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and then we start over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, start over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I've got some other things written in there, and I'll get back to that. Okay? So now let's look at the introduction. It's just a C's in the right hand, D's in the left hand. So let's play those two measures right now. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all it is. Piece of cake. We're going to put all these things together right now. So you're just going to play that F and hold it while you're playing the melody. The trick is going to be here. You stay on that F while you move to an E there. Here we go. You might want to practice that a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So as long as you just remember all the D's are going to be D flat, you don't have to think about it quite so much. Now this is where it gets interesting. We're going to play that same melody, but the left hand is going to be playing F, C, F, C, F, C, F, C, just all the way until the end. Now, that's a little tricky to do when you're starting on that E and going up, and that's F, and going down to a C. And it was, I had a lot of students with having trouble with that. So this is what we do first. We just practice playing that. Ready? Go. F, C, F, C. And just keep going to the point where you're not even thinking about it. You want it to be an automatic thing. Sometimes, when we're dealing with music, it's very musical. This one, we have to think mechanical to the point that we're not even thinking about it. And then we can eventually add the melody. 1, 2, 3, and. So through that, I was really only thinking about the right hand. I let the left hand go on automatic pilot. Now to get this transition, this is where we're coming into this part. I made some changes. I added a couple measures. So we had that, instead of just playing a whole note and then boom, switch into that, what I did, as soon as we got to this measure, I'd have the right hand start doing the F, C, and then add another measure of it. So you're doing F, C, F, C, F, C, F, C, and then going on to that. Found that it made it a lot easier for everybody to make that transition, and actually, I kind of like the way it sounds too. So, I'm going to start here so you can hear what I'm talking about. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I start this right away, and then we go on. Alright, so we play all this as normal. We get to here. As soon as we get to beat 1, we switch to the quarter notes. We do another measure of it, because if we don't have two measures of it, then mathematically it doesn't seem to fit there. And we go right into that. So let's try this part, starting here together. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. F, C, F, C, F, C, F, go! Like that. And you practice doing that a whole bunch of times. But do spend some time doing this. And maybe, looking around the room and just thinking of something else. So your fingers are just going automatically. Alright, one last detail before we do the whole thing. At the very end here, they have D-I-M, letter E, and R-I-T. This is Italian again. Diminuendo, which means we're going to gradually get quieter. Is means and rit for ritardando. So we gradually slow down. Ritardando is slowing. So we're going to get quieter and slower and fade away. So like the last line is going to be like this. 1, 2, 3, and whoops, 2, 3, 4. Like that. All right. Now you're going to practice all these different things. You can rewind and go to spots where I'm working on stuff. You can work with me. Right now, we're going to go all the way through. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops. Okay, right, you know, I made a mistake. I'm not going to go back and record the whole thing. But you notice how I accidentally went to a C, and then I had to change it, and I kept going. And I kept going. That's a good thing to do. If you make a little mistake, keep going. So now I can say I did that on purpose just to show you what it's like if you make a mistake. You keep going. All right, let's do it. Get your hand set. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the more you do it, then you can try different tempos. I wouldn't try it slower because doing that automatically slow, that doesn't work. You end up thinking about too much. But you could go faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Just a little musical thing here. It says mezzo forte and mezzo piano. Personally, I like to keep it like forte the whole time, and sometimes not even slow down, especially if I'm going to go faster and faster each time. So those are musical choices that you can make yourselves.